Hey everyone, welcome back. What you're looking at on the table right now is a Honda S65. It was originally a 65cc bike. When I got it 20 years ago, it was pretty much bone stock. And I had it for 10, 12 years. And then my son got a hold of it, and I think he built it around 2014 and then had it for a couple summers. I think he used it during the summer of 14 and 15, if I'm not mistaken. And then it got, he graduated from college and it got parked and so forth. But he's obviously highly modified it. It's got some pretty good sized tires on it. What are these, 3x17s or something? That is a front end. The forks are off of a CT70 clone, like a Sky Team or a Lyphon. I'm not really sure what they were off of. Obviously an aftermarket headlight bucket, some different bars. He made his own seat and put on it the little tail light. I don't think it has a bobbed fender. The fender might be shortened a little bit. I can't really remember. I'd have to look at a stock S65 to see how long it is. And then obviously he's got an aftermarket engine, and it's got a Piranha 140 in it. And he, like I said, he used it for a couple summers. Took it out to Denver when he was Boulder area, Estes Park. That's where he was at, Estes Park, Colorado. He worked at a camp out there for a couple summers. While he was in college, and he took it out there one summer and used it. And then, like I said, after he graduated from college, he gets married, and things like this don't get used. And so it ran, to the best of my knowledge, it ran when we put the thing up. And about a year and a half ago or so, he got an itch to fire it up and tried to start it, and it wouldn't start, and it seems to have zero compression. I mean, nothing. And I have a hard time believing it's got a bent valve. It might have a stuck one or something. But we've got to figure out what's going on with it. And he is looking for something just to commute back and forth. He only lives about a mile from where he works, so it's a really short commute, 1.5 miles maybe. And he's just wanting a little bike to run back and forth with. So I was originally going to put a Lyphon in it, just swap the engine real quick. But I thought, well, I mean, it should be a good engine. We just got to figure out what's wrong with it. So I'm going to get set up, and we're going to take some of the covers off of it and see what's going on. We're going to have to change the carburetor too, because the throttle, the slide is stuck. And so I think at this point we may just change that carburetor. So anyway, I'm going to get set up, put you in a stand. I think first we'll check and make sure it has spark, so that, this spaghetti mess make sure that it is still intact and nothing's going on there. And then once I confirm that it has spark, then I'll work on why it doesn't have any compression. But if it doesn't have spark and no compression, well, then I may just swap that other engine in it. So, all right, be right back. I'm going to start with a brand new spark plug. This does not have a key on. I think all it has is a kill switch. I'm not seeing any spark either. Not seeing any spark. Bear with me just 1 second here. See if we've got anything that looks like it's unplugged, or what kind of mess we've got going on over here. Oh yeah, we might have other issues, fellas. Hang on a second, I'll dig all this out, and then I'll bring you guys over here and we'll take a look, see what we got. That's the coil. That's plugged into a harness. What's all this? This is the engine. That all looks to be plugged in. I'll take you around the other side real quick. Sorry. What a mess. What a mess. What a mess. I see a couple wires. They look just like ground wires though. That's not plugged in, and that's not plugged in. Those just might be extra grounds. That's brake. That's the tail light. That comes from the brake and tail light switch. There's the coil. Oh, wait a minute. What's that? No, that's a neutral indicator wire. That doesn't need to be hooked up. Blue and white. And the black and the red look like they're all plugged in. Let's try swapping a CDI real quick and see if that makes any difference. I don't know what kind of elements this thing was in when it was in Colorado. Let's see, there's ground wire, there's hot wire, so it's not touching anything. All right, I'm gonna go around the other side and kick it over again. Let's see if we double check. There is no key on this thing. I think the only thing it has is he hooked up a button right there just to kill it. I think other than that, there's a switch up here on the headlight, but I think that just turns the headlight on. Don't think there's anything else to kill it. Excuse me, I'm sorry. No, there's no switch under the seat. Try this again. No, you got nothing. Well, this may become a engine swap video. You know what? Let's just do a few things here. This is the coil. If we can find out where that plugs into, let's try throwing another coil on it just for kicks and giggles here. Let me find another 2-wire coil. Hang on just a second. Let's try this. Make sure it's not a coil problem. Stay here. Don't lose you guys. All right, so those are plugged in. Flywheel, so it doesn't get all tangled in the flywheel, I guess. All right, let me try that. Nope, we still have nothing. Just the pickup. Good. Trying to make sure that, Well, that ground wire is loose. I wonder if that could be, I can't believe that'd be it. No, we still don't have any fire. Just make sure. I don't think that switch up there is anything. We got nothing. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so there are the wires coming from the engine. You know what? Let's do this. And plug the original coil back in before I lose it. Where'd it go? Did I already lose it down in there? No, that's it right there. Give me just 1 second. We're going to put things back the way they were. Okay. I'm going to go get one of just the run-only harnesses and hook it up, and let's see what happens. Hang on just a second. Okay, so where'd that CDI go? We're going to pull that CDI that I plugged in there, pull that off, put it on there. Then we need, you guys are just a little bit in my way. I'm going to move it here. Bring you back down. Wow. That looks worse on film than what it does in real life here. What the heck have they got going on? All right, so, okay, so we got, all right, so we don't need the yellow and we don't need the white. Those are lighting. This is the green ground. Black and red. Somewhere's a blue and white. There it is, right here. Looks like it's been spliced or something. We may have to check some of those connections. Yeah, we've got a few splices, so that we may have something going on there. Okay. Where does our coil plug into? Oh, okay, that's these two right here. Here they are. I'm used to it mostly being black with a gold stripe. This one's yellow with a black stripe. Okay, so that and these other plugs are just kill buttons, which we're not worried about right now. So we've got this little bitty harness hooked straight to the engine. We've bypassed everything else, and we've got a coil. Let's see if we've got spark now. If we don't have spark now, then we've got an issue with the stator. And we still don't have any spark. So there's something going on. Something going on back here. So that just solidified. That puts me back to what I originally was thinking was I was just going to pull this engine and put the Lifen 125 in it. He doesn't need to go 65, 70 mile an hour that this engine will go. If he can go 50 mile an hour, none of the streets from his house to where he works are more than 45. So yeah, we'll save this for a video down the road. Dive into it and diagnose what's going on with the no spark and the no compression. I don't think they're related. I think, unless the timing chain. Yeah, I don't know. No. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we'll save this for later. I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to film it. You guys have seen me do it 100 times. I'm going to go ahead and yank this engine out of this bike. I may yank this whole wiring harness out of here, and we may start fresh with a new Trail Buddy harness. This is the old, years and years and years ago when I used to buy harnesses off of eBay. Web LLC. That's an old Web LLC harness, and so we may see if we can't clean some of this up and do a little bit better job and get him an engine up and running. So anyway, all right. Next time I turn the camera on, I'm probably going to have the bike down to just a frame, no engine, and then we will build it back up as we go from there. All right, here's the aftermath of Mike just going at it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and just stripping this thing down. Of course, I cut the fuel line on the tank. It's got a crossover on this tank. There's a crossover. Let's see if you can see it here. This line I cut here that balances out the fuel on this side of the tank to that side of the tank, and there's just a petcock on the one side. Well, I cut the line, as you can see, and I didn't even think to look to see if there was any fuel in it, so we dumped a little bit of fuel before we got a jar to catch it, and I've stripped the wiring harness completely out of it. Only thing that's left are the wires that go back to the tail light, brake light, and tail light, and then the brake light switch. And I think we may change that tail light and do a different license plate bracket here too. Got the seat and the tank off, obviously. Got the headlight off, and so we'll clean some of this stuff up and rewire this. We'll go with that Trail Buddy harness, but tools everywhere. So I think I'm going to clean this mess up. I tend to not like to work in a huge mess. So I'm going to clean all this up, maybe wipe the bike down, clean it up a little bit while I've got the stuff off of it, and get ready to then go back to the assembly, put the new engine and other parts back on it. So let me get this mess cleaned up. Good morning, everyone. It is about 6:20 in the morning on Tuesday, and as you can see, I have the Honda S65 put back together. Obviously, I didn't film a lot. Some of you guys know I'm doing a major renovation on my home, and I've limited myself to 1 day a week to work in the motorcycle shop, and usually that's Mondays. So yesterday I scrambled and put this thing back together because I knew I was coming up to Indianapolis, and that's where I'm at right now, to see my son, and I wanted to be able to give it back to him. So it's kind of hard to film and do things in a timely fashion. So I put some stuff on, got the bike up and running. There's a couple little things he'll have to finish up. It doesn't have a air filter on it. The Was there anything else? I might have gotten most everything else done. I can't remember, but we'll get it down off of this truck and fire it up. I'm a little disappointed in this engine. I'll put a link to it in this video. I bought this off of Amazon, and it was advertised as a 140. And I think, hang on a second, let's see if we can actually see it. Yeah, if you see right there, it even says 140 on it. But in my mind, it doesn't have any more giddy up than what a 125 has. So it runs nice, seems to ride nice, but I was hoping to get maybe a little bit more, oomph out of the engine. That's why I went with the 140 over what my typical 125. And it didn't cost me anything anymore, which is kind of should have been my first heads up that something was up. But I wouldn't buy this engine thinking I'm going to get 140cc type performance out of it, because I certainly don't think I did. So let me get it down off the truck. After getting the bike off the truck, I remembered what the other item I was thinking that he'll want to change eventually is probably this petcock. This tank has a crossover, has a nipple that comes out of the right side of the tank at the bottom, and it comes across. And the original S65 petcock is supposed to have two, an inlet and an outlet, and so it came across and it connected to the petcock, and then there was an outlet out of the petcock that went down to the carb. Well, I didn't order one. I didn't know it was bad, and this one had some drippy issues. So I put, the only thing I put on there, the only thing I had in stock was an SL70 petcock, and it only has the one outlet. So I had to put a T. So basically the other side of the tank is just feeding directly into the carb, and you can't shut the fuel off. It's not a problem as long as the float's working, but he'll probably want to eventually change that petcock. So I'm gonna get you set up on tripod here, and we'll fire it up and just kind of spin it around here in the parking lot. Torque in first gear. One of those engines you cannot find neutral with it running. It's a 1 down, 3 up. No. Yeah, I don't know why they're like that, but yeah, you can't find neutral with the thing, with the engine running. Well, guys, sorry I didn't film a lot of wrenching, putting it back together. But like I said, I was on a little bit of time constraint. I wanted to get it done and get it back up here today for him. And I wanted to get some content out for you guys and for Tuesday. And so yesterday I just kind of worked and didn't film. So we'll hopefully get something put together for you, and I'll see you next week. You guys have a great day. Thanks.